Strike Rush is a 4v4 arena shooter that I would describe as Overwatch meets Titanfall in VR. But that's a huge oversimplification, and hopefully this video will show you why. Just last week, Strike Rush hosted an invite-only closed beta test of their game, and I, along with a few lucky others, were able to join and compete for prizes. But you see, this wasn't just for fun and games. Strike Rush is aiming to become one of the biggest VR shooters, so the real purpose of this beta test was to get both creator and community feedback to help Strike Rush live up to that ambitious title. And since this game is still months away from launch, this is definitely not a review. I barely had access to any of the features that will be available in the final game, so think of this video as an introduction to Strike Rush, where I can show you what makes this game unique, as well as share some constructive feedback. Thanks to Uptempo for sponsoring this video. Now let's get right into the gameplay. Okay, so imagine if in Overwatch, all of the characters kind of played like your standard assault class, but then to play as a tank hero, you hop into a Titanfall-style mech that just drops from the sky. And if that's not different enough for you, each player has their own robotic companion to assist them in battle. Oh shoot. 7 seconds. Oh!
Alpha down.
Thank you! What a good doggo! Oh shoot! This combination of different gameplay elements provides a totally new twist on the standard arena shooter formula, but while this game does manage to bring some cool new ideas to the table when it comes to structure of gameplay, the actual moment-to-moment gunplay and aesthetics could definitely use some work. But let's go through this chronologically. I want to show you what my experience was like during this playtest, because my enjoyment of the game really grows as I figure out more about it. Come on, turret. In 4, 3, 2, 1!
Bravo down.
Go!
Alpha down.
Yes.
Alpha down.
I got it!
Alpha down.
Get him. Boom! Come on, trick shot!
Alpha down.
Oh! There is definitely a learning curve to this game, and maybe showing you that learning curve will demonstrate what's really cool about this game, because there are lots of cool abilities that you simply won't understand or appreciate until you've played quite a few matches. What is this? I'm in third person!
Alpha down. Bravo down.
Oh! I got exploded. Luckily for this playtest, each of us were required to play a total of 12 matches, at least to be eligible to win that Amazon gift card as a prize. Obviously, I needed to try to get that, but soon I had another goal. I noticed this board next to the menu that tracks your wins and losses. So for no particular reason, I vowed that if I had to play 12 matches, I was gonna win all 12. And so we began embarking on a quest of unknowable difficulty where the odds were truly stacked against me. From the unlucky matchmaking, alright. Good news and bad news, doggo. New map, good news. Bad news, I'm the only one on my team. And worst of all, the lack of a tutorial. The sniper rifle is the way to go. Wait, why am I running now? Did I figure out how to run? No. Which meant we were going into our first match completely blind. Oh, I think this is a shotgun. But hey, at least I had my robot dog. Big question, can you pet the dog?
Good job.
Yes, you can pet the dog. Luckily, I got into a multiplayer lobby almost right away, and here I was faced with an important choice: which character to pick. The descriptions weren't very helpful in telling me what their unique abilities were, and if you click on the option to see more, there's no way to back out of that selection, so it really takes trial and experimentation to learn what each of the characters do. And since there was no tutorial in the beta test, that took a lot longer than it should have. For a long time, I didn't know how to use any of my abilities, so I was just playing this like a standard FPS game.
Alpha down.
Got him. And this is where the game kind of feels unimpressive. The gunplay and movement felt kind of awful when that's all I was doing. I felt like my character was just casually walking instead of running since I couldn't figure out how to dash, and recoil from the weapons made it impossible to fire while aiming down sights. That is way too much recoil.
Bravo down.
And don't get me wrong, these are still very real criticisms I have with the game, except that I almost immediately forgot about those issues when I started dominating the lobbies, because I finally figured it out.
Alpha down.
Got him. I'll take that sniper.
Alpha down. Alpha down.
Oh, there they are.
Bravo down. Bravo down. Bravo down.
Nice, we wiped them. You see, the first thing I figured out was how to command my companion. Okay, so I finally figured out why when I hold the command button, these other circles are here. Well, this one says return. I can't say what that one says, but this one, like, if I bring my hand there, he whistles, or she, whatever my character is, to bring him towards me, and then I can also tell him
Hold
to hold.
position.
You hear that? That's sick.
Hold position.
Or go over there.
Move.
That's so cool, actually. It's actually really intuitive. You just point the left trigger to command them where to move, or you can hold the left trigger up to your mouth and whistle to call them back, or you can make a gesture up and to the left to command them to stay where they are. It might sound complicated, but it's actually really intuitive, and it's also really cool to have this reliable companion that you can always order to cover you as you move around corner, or that can help you secure the objective while you fire from a different angle. Who's a good boy?
Good job.
These companions are unique to each character, and so are their abilities. Some of these are what you'd expect, like a stationary turret, or an EMP blast, or a healing cone, but some of these are really sick, like the one where your dog turns into a clone of you and will shoot whatever you shoot, basically doubling your firepower in any direction. That one is awesome. What's our ability? Oh yeah, our little drone is going to become a clone of us. Watch this. Ready? Boom! He's us now.
Alpha down. Alpha down.
Why does that help? Is he just another target, like a decoy? Maybe he shoots with me. Maybe I should just pick a
Bravo
different gun.
down.
Oh. Oh, look at that.
Capture.
Alright, let's use our ability. Doggo, go over there. And go!
Alpha down.
Yes! Good job, myself. If I could high-five myself, that would be cool.
Alpha down.
If he mimicked all of my actions. And often these work hand in hand with your other character-specific ability. Some of these are really interesting, but probably the most exciting part of each match, at least to me, is when the giant Colossus drops into the arena.
Alpha down.
These huge walking tanks are intimidating to be on the other side of. Oh my gosh, it's actually kind of scary that thing coming at you.
Bravo down.
But are awesome to fight alongside, or inside. These act like the typical tank class, which can help rally the losing team into one final push, but these can completely shift the scales of battle, allowing for some clutch comebacks or devastating defeats.
Alpha down. Alpha down. Alpha down.
Right before he got in.
Alpha down.
There's my ability. Because of how powerful these are, they're not always on the battlefield. They seem to be given out if a team is doing particularly bad, which I think is a great way to encourage the team to do one final push. But as devastating as these things can be, they don't have a ton of health. If the other team focus fires on them, you'll destroy it pretty quickly. However, the way that you get into them isn't the smoothest transition.
Bravo down.
And the way that you control them isn't ideal either. Rather than controlling the mech arms with your own arms like you'd expect, you simply aim the arm cannons with your head. Move! I just got out! No! I didn't even get out! No! And it's these little design choices like this, such as the fact that you can fire all the weapons one-handed without consequence, that really prevents this game from feeling immersive. The lack of scopes on the sniper rifles is another issue I had, and of course I have to mention how much this game would benefit from full-body characters for the player. Okay, who did I pick? I don't know who I picked. I have different hands though. Ooh, different drone. Hello. Can I pet you? I can't pet this one. That guy looks sick. I kind of want to be that guy. So you know how that guy had that really sick character design earlier? That
Bravo
avatar
down.
that I was like, I want to be him. Well, I am him. But because I don't have a full body, I
Bravo
can't tell.
down.
I don't look any
Bravo
cooler than I
down.
normally
Bravo
do.
down.
So I don't feel any cooler than I normally do. And I feel like that's really the part of this game that you want
Bravo
to get
down.
across is this
Bravo
feeling
down.
of embodying these sick heroes. What's the point of having such cool character designs if you can't really embody them? These are the kinds of things that make VR so cool and unique in the first place, so lean into them. Add physical weapon interactions, add animations for when they spawn into your hands. And speaking of immersion, I am very curious about the design philosophy behind this particular ability. So this one character who looks vaguely like Soldier 76 has this berserk type ability where he charges at an enemy with melee weapons, swords, but for some reason, instead of just giving you swords to use, you're teleported into a third-person view of your character and simply press the triggers to slash. Alright, let's try this again. Nice. That's kind of cool. I mean, I don't understand why I can't just hold the swords. Like,
Bravo down.
why do I have to go into third person for that? Would that make us motion sick? I don't even know. This absolutely baffles me. I don't even know what to say about this. Just why? Why take control away from the player? Why not use the VR motion controls to swing your arms like the rest of the game? And then it hit me. Maybe it's to balance this game for a flat screen player? Is this game intended to be on mobile phones as well? Perhaps? But in that case, it's still totally disappointing and pretty uncomfortable, to be honest. But at least I finally figured out how to run faster. Look at that. Oh, you run faster without a weapon. It only took me nearly 10 games, but you run faster when you let go of your weapon. Don't worry, it'll spawn back in your hand as soon as you press the grab button. But speaking of the weapons, I mentioned earlier that the recoil was so intense that I couldn't even aim using the sights. Yeah, that wasn't a joke. I found it seriously more accurate and effective to fire from the hip and line up your shots that way. And then usually that also led to firing one-handed, since that made reloading easier as well.
Bravo down.
Whoa! There's no consequence to one-handing these huge rifles, no increase in recoil, it's absolutely the same. And speaking of things that don't affect things like they should, your movement speed isn't affected by crouching. I think you move faster crouched than you do standing.
Bravo down.
You do. Why is that a thing? You can crouch walk with a weapon out faster than you can walk with a weapon out, which just doesn't make any sense. I also find it kind of interesting that they decided to make the powerful weapons always spawn in the same locations throughout the map. If you want to use a sniper, well, just head left from spawn and it's always in this one room. Want a machine gun? Well, that's always right over here. At first I hated this. It felt like a chore to have to walk out of spawn, walk over to my preferred weapon, and then walk over to the objective, just to die and do it all over again. And the walking speed is really slow. And while I still think it might not be the best way to do this kind of system, I understand the risk versus reward choice available to the player here. Either take the short, direct route back to the action to help your team with the objective as soon as possible, or risk those extra few seconds to grab a weapon that might give you a better chance, or better yet, take the Colossus. The combination of all of these gameplay elements means that the matches themselves are full of action and rarely boring. Random details. You can shoot the drums and they make noise.
Bravo down.
But I can't really speak about the longevity of this game since I didn't have access to any other aspects of the overall gameplay loop, such as the armory or progression system, as this would play a huge role in how fun this game is to play regularly over time. Of course. It took me until my last game to realize that I could shoot hoops while waiting. But what I played felt like a great foundation for the developers to expand upon in the final release. And while I definitely enjoyed my time with the Strike Rush closed beta test, it's definitely too early to judge this title. I'm very curious to see where it goes in these next few months, so I'll be sure to keep an eye on it. One of the studio's previous games, Mortal Blitz, was one of the first VR games I ever played back on my PSVR, and I have pretty fond memories of that game, so I'm excited for this one. If there's one thing this team can get right, it's that cool cyberpunk futuristic aesthetic, and that's my weakness. I love that kind of stuff. Well, we didn't have the perfect run that we wanted, but 9 victories, not bad. Only 3 defeats, 75% win rate, I'm happy with that. And lastly, if you watched this far into the video, thank you. I hope you consider leaving a like and subscribing, as it'll really help out the channel. I'm Virtual Bro, and I'll see you later.